Hi, I am Gaston Gomez. Coming up next on Global Perspectives, a heart-to-heart conversation about culture and education. Welcome to Global Perspectives. I am your host, Gaston Gomez, and today we'll have a candid conversation about culture and education with our guest, Diana Rivera. Thank you for being here today. I am thrilled to have you join us.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So tell me about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia, and I was born in a small town in the middle of Colombia, Arbeláez. It's very small, and everybody knows everybody. And yeah.
So, a very small village.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, do you go to private schools or public schools back then?
Well, when we started preschool, so pre-kinder
So from
and pre-K and kindergarten, it was together. It's pre-K, kinder, and first grade. It was mixed. And I was the first one. My group was we initiated the preschool in our town.
The first generation.
Yes. And then after first grade, we go to different schools, so girls and boys. But the schools are together. We share the playground. And it was public schools, and that small town is only public schools. We have the elementary, preschool, elementary, and bachillerato, that is together middle and high school. We call it bachillerato.
Bachillerato, or bachelor, but here is more like college for a bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. And so, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and then we moved to Fusagasugá. That is the other city that is like middle size, yes, between Bogotá and my town, Arbeláez. So we had to go every day to Fusagasugá for our bachillerato, middle and high school, and we went to the Catholic school. So that was private school.
Okay, and so what was the distance? Was it a long distance to go?
It was
to
like
school every
40
day?
minute.
So not bad.
Not bad,
I mean,
yeah.
not bad,
But you had to go very early in the morning, like 5:30 in the morning, and we come back by 4 p.m.
So the attendance was mandatory. You had to go to school.
Well, because we pay for education, so parents, want the kids to go every day, and they feel if we don't go to school, they are losing money.
So, but when it comes to public education, when you were in public schools as a little girl, was it mandatory? The attendance was mandatory?
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
No.
Okay.
But it was like a commitment. I don't remember everyone to miss school for weeks. So no, if we are sick, yeah, of course, no. The mom send a note or over there. I feel like in Colombia, parents feel like education is very important, and they go to school all the time that they need it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Now let me ask you this: growing up, do you learn English? Any English or?
Oh,
do you learn it?
No.
So English was not part of your...
It was something on my list. Languages for me were so hard, and not even the music. Because when I was in college, and some of my friends, they loved the music in English, and they play some songs. But for me, no. For me, it was a vallenato. This is a typical music in Colombia.
The regional, like regional music.
Yeah, people from the countryside listen to this kind of music, and so all my family loved it. I was just with vallenatos all day long.
So English was not one of your main languages, but how many languages do you speak?
Just Spanish and English.
In English, okay. Now, if you go to, go back in time, were your parents involved in your education?
Yes, especially.
Like, do they go to parent-teacher conferences? Do they go to ask about, hey, why are the grades lower, or any concerns about your behavior? Like, were they part of your of the school's meetings?
Yeah, especially my mom, because my dad works on Buenaventura. That it was like maybe 20 hours apart from our town. So my mom was in charge of everything at home. So she went to school all the time that we have any situations or if our grades. Over there is like every 2 months, they invite parents to come and talk with the teachers. So
to give them an update. So sort of
yes.
like our parent-teacher conferences here in the county.
Yeah, so this is, it was cool because they had some performance for the parents. If I were part of the dancing group, so we perform for the parents, and then they have time to go on each class and talk with the teachers.
Wonderful. And what do you like doing after school? What was your favorite thing to do after school?
Dance.
Dance? So you always enjoy dancing?
Yes, I always. And I try to play volleyball and basketball and
So
some
try
sports.
to stay, active.
Yes.
Good. And so were your parents supportive of those extracurricular activities?
No at all. No.
They were not supportive? They didn't want you to?
No, it was funny, that even that they thought that education was important. Sport for them were like, okay, if you want to learn, that's fine. Go by
So they
yourself.
didn't really mind if you were part of extracurricular activities. Got it. And so when did you move to the United States?
I moved in 2001. And it was July and one of the summers. And
It was humid.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And so did you move here to study your higher education, or did you complete higher education in Colombia?
No, I completed higher education in Colombia, and I was working in the Special Education Institute.
Oh, tell me about your career in Colombia.
I graduated as a speech therapist, and then I started working with the special kids. And so it was like 8 years working with them, but it was a very hard time for my country. And financially, and it was a lot of crime, and it was very hard to survive there, especially the Bogota and the big cities.
Major cities.
Major cities, like Medellin and Bogota and Cali were very dangerous.
When you were working with children with special needs, how young were they?
The kids were like in elementary and middle school.
Okay, so
yeah, they were together in that institute. So, but the syndrome, kids with Down syndrome, maybe they were like 16 years old, no? But they were like.
So you worked with them to go the
yes.
school years. That's a very nice career in the field of special education.
Yeah, I have good memories from that time.
Yeah, very special. So before you moved to the United States, going back a little bit to your life in Colombia before you moved here, what was your idea about the United States? So what have you heard about the United States before you moved here?
Well, I have a friend, and she was my sister-in-law in that time, and she was living here for years. And so I heard like it's a big country and many things about Washington, because she was living in Washington.
D.C.
And Washington, D.C. And I had the opportunity to come like 3 times for vacation.
So you came to visit before you
yes.
decided to move here?
Yeah, we planned, all the family planned a vacation to come to visit her, and we went to Disney, we went to New York. So I had like idea, how to live here.
Your first trip to the United States, what was your cultural shock? What was it so shocking that you're like, wow, mind-blowing?
I think the stores. The stores were so big, and so yeah.
Clothing stores? Yeah.
Yeah, and comparing with Colombia at that time. So yeah, everything was like big. The highways and interstate.
Infrastructure.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So.
Got it. So overall, what do you think are some of the biggest differences when it comes to cultural differences between Colombia and the United States? Education.
Yeah, education is different because the schools over there, they are like small schools, like a maximum 600 maybe.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we feel like the teachers are more in control of us and can follow what we are doing. Here is so hard, especially in middle and high school, because they are so big. And the other thing that I immediately after a month I start feeling like lonely. It's so hard to make friends and go anywhere. Like when you feel, I'm not doing anything, I just want to go to visit some friend. You just go and do it. In Colombia, we do that. Like,
right.
Or we call, hey, what are you doing?
And here it's not like just showing up, hey, I'm here to visit
yes.
you. Yeah.
So here, no. And
that's a cultural
yeah, and then
difference.
I try once, and this woman say, I'm planning to do something else. And so I was like, it's not the same. So that was the major thing for me. And I start feeling so lonely, even that I had my kids. So it was hard.
And I think it's because you have to learn to connect, not reconnect, but learn to connect to a different society, a different culture, a different neighborhood, totally different from where you grew up or where you lived as a grown-up in Colombia. So yeah, things are different, but you have to adjust, learn how to.
So it took me like a year to adjust and learn how people, even that they are so nice, they need the space, no? So.
Yeah. When do you move here permanently to stay here in the United States? What do you do? Do you work? Do you continue to work as a speech therapist?
No.
Kids with special
I
needs,
tried many times, but always something happened. But I started working in Prince William County in Virginia in the Spanish program. So it was a program for kindergarten, and it was Spanish in the morning, and they switched to Spanish into English classes. And it was very successful program.
So you stayed in the education?
In education, yeah. I started with the schools.
Good.
And then I moved here because I married, and so I moved to
Anne Arundel County. That was my next question. Why do you move to Anne Arundel County?
So that's why, important reason.
A family matter,
yes.
Family reasons.
And so immediately I continued with the schools, and so I started teaching Spanish in middle school.
In Anne Arundel County?
In Anne Arundel County, yeah. It was more like a sub.
Okay.
For a long term.
Okay.
And then they opened this department, and they are promoting the department as a bilingual facilitator department, and so I moved to this department.
Next question. So what is it that you do now? Because that will take you to, will take us to the next question about what Diana does for Anne Arundel County Public Schools.
So I'm part of the bilingual facilitators, and so I have all the schools, like 9 schools close to the airport in Glen Burnie area. And also I run the program Nuestra Comunidad.
Yes, tell me about your TV show. She has a TV show titled Nuestra Comunidad, which stands for our community, and it's in Spanish. So we encourage you to watch it and learn some Spanish. But tell me about your show. What is it that you do address at every show? And it's a monthly show, correct?
Yes, it's a monthly, and we had this idea years ago, I think like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and it was to bring more information to the Hispanic community, because many parents have a question, like when is the first day of school, and little things that we think, they already know about this, but no. Because sometimes it's hard for them to go to the website or to contact someone.
To navigate the system.
Yes. So and in this program, I inform things that happen in the school, the activities, events that going on in the school system. And so now that it's in YouTube and also in the TV channel, so more people are watching the program.
Good, good. So again, we encourage you to watch Diana Rivera on Nuestra Comunidad. Tell me about your position as a bilingual facilitator. I know you have so many roles or many hats that you wear, and the rest of the team does. They have the amazing opportunity to work for the school system and assisting families and our students as well. But also, conducting outreach events and facilitating. But tell me more about what you do.
Well, I think that the more important thing is that we are helping this community, the Hispanic community. And we make those connections with them. They trust us. And we are in charge of help them to navigate the system and understand the education in this country. And so I enjoy this job. I really like it. And when the families respond to all the workshops that we run for them, all the activities that we run for them, is the price.
So trust is the first step for the family to open up to you as a bilingual facilitator. They need to trust you. They learn to trust you, and I think it's because you get to you have the opportunity to get to know them and also to listen to their needs and what their expectations as a parent, as an immigrant, but also as a parent in Anne Arundel County. What is it that we expect them to do, or what do we want them to do for their child to succeed in our school system? I think trust is the number one part that I think is necessary for them to feel welcome, to feel like I matter in this.
And that's why it's important to have the really good interpretation and translation when we send all the information to them.
So you do translations, you interpret in meetings. What kind of meetings do you interpret?
Parents-teacher conference and many of the parents and administrators conference. Registrations, and all kind of
special events.
Yes, and calls every day, for many calls for information that they need, and sometimes I have to contact the teachers and bring that information to the parents.
Right.
And well, sometimes we help with the ESOL students, especially when they are new in this country. So explain them the rules and routines in the school, because it's so different from their country.
And so, you've been a bilingual facilitator for 14 years?
Yes.
14 years. So you have seen the changes from then and now. The group has grown. The group of bilingual facilitators has grown, but also, the diversity that is being embraced in the school system, and also the cultural dynamics. So all those things that you haven't been able to notice is growing. But also, do you see that we are supporting and embracing those cultures? That we are encouraging parents, no matter what language you speak, we're here to help you. We're here to support you.
Yes, and it's important that they know that it's not only the school community, that they need to know that it's not only for Hispanics, because the Hispanics are the one who they don't want to learn English. No, that's not true. We support all the international communities, and that's why our department has different bilingual facilitators and other
languages, right? So what languages do we cover in Anne Arundel County?
Spanish, Korean, Arabic,
Urdu, Chinese,
and
Pashto,
yes,
and French.
Italian.
So we do cover, and
Italian,
besides the bilingual facilitators, we have a bank of interpreters, over 150 interpreters that they are called whenever we need them in our schools or events.
And this events. I think the part of why I love what I am doing. I compare when I moved to this country, and I was in Virginia, and I didn't speak any English or didn't learn any maybe.
So you learn English here in the U.S.
Yeah, I started learning here, and so one time they invite us for a family night activity, and I asked someone to translate. And they say, "What does it say?" And say, "Oh, that they are inviting your son to go tonight to the school," and it was Friday night. And I say, and what are they gonna do? Oh, they're gonna play something. They're gonna play like games, and so pack some snacks for him. I said, well, okay, well, something different.
Right.
And so he was in, I think, in second grade, and I dropped my child to the school, and I went to somewhere. I think that I went to the store, and they were trying to call me, but that time I didn't have a cell phone, so I didn't know that it was a family activity, and my son was crying for 2 hours.
Oh.
Because he was the only one
with no parents.
With no parents there. And then I say, no, it's important to learn. And how nice it was if we had someone who speak our language in that school.
Right.
And so it was totally miscommunication. So I feel for these parents when they came to this country and they don't understand what's going on in the schools. And sometimes it's hard for them to understand the vocabulary, the school vocabulary that you use. So that's what I feel, that they appreciate what we're doing, and we are part of them.
But you as an immigrant, you just shared with us that you didn't speak any English when you moved here.
No.
Yeah, you had a language barrier with the school system when your son was young in Virginia, attending the schools there. But then you motivated yourself to learn English, and now you are a bilingual facilitator. You are a cultural broker for our families in Anne Arundel County. So we thank you so much for what you do, and we value your work, and we appreciate every single thing that you do for our families. So going back to those years, starting working with us or for Anne Arundel County, public schools, media. Tell me about media. How have you seen the media developed? You know, from then and now. For example, your show is on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and so you do have a Facebook account that is a work only, and then you share all your beautiful things that you do. But you know, give me an example or share some things about media from then and now. Or now and then.
But at that time we didn't have the cell phone, so it was they had to call to the school and please Spanish. That's the only thing that they knew how to reach me, no? So the secretary transferred the call for me, and the line was busy all day. Now with the
connected then, right?
No, not connected. And if we closed the schools early because the snow or something, we had to call each parent. It was so hard to reach all the parents. But now I just post in Facebook like, we're gonna close early because these things, and they know, or connected. So many things that they followed. They followed Twitter, and I think each school has Twitter, and there's so many resources that we have for them.
And I think our parents, our immigrant parents, they're not used to participating in school events. You know, so it could be a cultural thing, or just they're just not used to it. But here, you know, they learn to be more engaging, to participate in volunteering or field trips, accompanying their you know, child or students, you know, with school activities. But I think what they are learning is that no matter what, I use my phone to connect. Like it could be via text message, getting a message from the school, or connected via voice message as well, or emails. So I think parents are more into, I'm okay if I make progress in having a cell phone or having a social media application like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I think that when you're here in the United States, you have to adjust. Like you said, you know, I didn't know anything or I didn't know anyone, so I have to learn. So I think we adjust. You know, like, okay, in order for me to get to know my new culture or my new school system or my neighborhood, you get to do other things like, you know, getting a cell phone and connecting, you know, getting applications downloaded, so you are more in touch with what's going on in the community.
Yes, and the parents, they are young parents, most of them, they are young. And so, yeah, for them to go, have a Facebook or Twitter, this easy for them. They know how to manage
the finances to get a cell phone with applications. And that's wonderful. Again, is adjusting to a new culture. And that might not be needed in their country. Not having a cell phone or not even having access to an application such Twitter or Facebook. But here, you know, is great that they quickly adjust or acclimate themselves into, you know, in other more common things that we do here. And that's great because that connects them better to our schools and our school system and what's going on in the community, and they are more in touch with us as a school system. So Diana, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate your time. And I have a quote for you guys from Maya Angelou. Before we go, I would like to share with you that when you learn, teach. When you get, give. See you next time.